Here's a question where they're asking you to, I think, to go backwards. So they say they have a tall plant, tall pea plant, with terminal flowers, um, and it's crossed with a short plant that has axial flowers. Okay. And they say all 72 offspring, whoops, all 72 offspring become tall with axial flowers. So when they do the Punnett square thing, um, every one of those things are tall and axial. Okay, so if they're all tall and all axial, I'm thinking that tall and axial are the dominant ones. So the dominant and recessive. So tall has to be dominant, and short would be recessive. And for flowers, axial will be dominant, and terminal will be recessive. Recessive. Okay, so now I just have to figure out what the parents are going to be. So I guess to be tall, you could be, for height, let's use H for height. So H, so to be tall, you could be an HH, or you could be an H little h, right? Because if tall dominates short, then regardless if you're homozygous dominant or you're a heterozygote, because you have the capital H in there somewhere, you're going to be tall. So that's what that plant will look like. But it also says it has terminal flowers, and the terminal were recessive. So let's use F for flowers. So if that's terminal, both of those um, uh, alleles or both those characteristics must be recessive. So they're both two little f's. So I don't know if it's this one or this one. Now let's look over on the other side. It says it has a short plant. Short plant, we've established that it's recessive. So that's got to be little h, little h. That's the only option. Because you can't have a capital H in there because that capital H will make the plant tall. So it can't be that. But axial flowers, it could be a capital F, because axial we said are dominant, or it could be a capital F, little f. So I guess my only choice is to figure out if it's going to be that one or it's going to be that one to cross. And then on this side, I have to figure out if it's this one or if it's, maybe I should have used another color, or if it's that plant. But I do know that all I get are tall flowers. So really, if I crossed this, let's just do that. If I crossed an HH, so the alleles for that would be a capital H and a little h, with a short plant, which are two little h's, and I'm just doing a baby Punnett square here. If I cross that, here I'd get capital H, little h, capital H, little h. Here, two little h's. I'm going to come up with short plants, but they said I can't. They said they're all tall. So that means that this plant here, when I said tall terminal, it cannot be this heterozygote. It has to be this one. Okay? And now, following the same logic, if they say all the plants have axial flowers, I can't have this heterozygote for flowers, because if it crosses with a recessive there, then you'll get the odd terminal flower. And they said all of them have axial flowers. So I can't use this heterozygote thing. I'd have to use this one. So the two the genotypes of the two plants I'm crossing are uh, homozygous dominant for height and homozygous recessive for flowers. And I'm crossing that with a short plant, so little h, and capital F. Homozygous for both traits, one recessive and one dominant. Okay, so the only gametes that this guy can give is a capital H, little f. That's the only kind of gamete that you can get from that. And then the only gamete that I could get from this parent would be a little h, big F. That's a very small Punnett square. So when I cross those, I'm going to get an H, little h, big F, little f. So what I come up with is a heterozygote. But notice it's going to be tall and it's going to have axial flowers. And that's the only option. So now they say, predict the F2 offspring, what's going to happen. So F2, this is F1, or generation 1. F2 would be to take this and cross it with another identical plant. Okay, so if we do that, if I cross an HHFF with HHFF, then the gametes that this can give would be a H, capital F, capital H, little f, little h, capital F, little h, little f. And then this one here will be the same thing. H, little f, little h, big F, little h, little f. So when I do my Punnett square, this time I'm going to have 4 things. So I'll have an HF, 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 H, little f. And I'll have the same thing over here. And then you just fill in your chart and count up. And like all good heterozygote crosses, in the end you should have a 9:3:1 ratio of the offspring. All right, hopefully that helps you, especially sort of in working backwards to figure out what the parents were.